what sleep I got, man, it really made a difference. I made good progress last night. I had a good while where I was actually traveling on dirt roads, which I was a little bit, I mean, Google did warn me about that, but I was a little bit surprised at. It definitely was a challenge on the drive. You know, I think I was about 7 or 8 hours that I need to cover. Probably about 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours away from Jacksonville right now. The weather continues to look awesome. I'm very excited about what I'm seeing. You know, they're supposed to get 10 inches tomorrow, 6 inches Sunday, 8 inches Monday. Going into next week, it looks like there's like pretty consistent, you know, between 3 and 5 inches most days, which looks great. And then just like one of the really close by mountains, Grand Tarry, is going to have really good snow totals too. So I'm probably next weekend, if I had to guess, they're calling for 18 inches on Sunday the 9th, which if I had to guess is probably where I'll be at if that continues. You never know with these weather forecasts when it's that far out, but it's really nice. I mean, it hasn't been a lot of snow lately. Where I've been at, it's been good skiing. I've really enjoyed it, but it's a lot more fun when there's a bunch of powder, just because it's a little bit more cushioning on the knees when I'm making turns and doing that sort of thing. But then also, it's that powder has this sort of magical effect where you're able to, almost like be in a plane, where you're able to go and just kind of carve these turns, and it gives you call it a low consequence environment, because you have, you know, if you fall, it's really not the end of the world most of the time, because the powder's pretty forgiving. So it depends on the snow, but I am really looking forward to being able to be in that position. You know, I'm grateful for my life today. I know I talk about that a lot. I talk about how today was a good day, and I feel like I'm a broken record with that. But it wasn't always a good day. It wasn't always easy. It wasn't always happy. It wasn't always any of these things. And when we look at life, I think it's easy to look at this trip and this practice and go, well, Gary just has it easy. He did this, he did that. You know, I want to be really clear that this is a hard-won battle to get the life that I have right now. And the reason why I share this is because I believe that each and every one of us can be able to have a life that's like our best form of existence. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect, and I'm not saying that, you know, everything's always the best, but I am saying it's really good, and it's worth fighting for in your life. If you're dealing with depression, if you're dealing with substance abuse, if you're dealing with wasting your time on the internet, looking at the phone, looking at porn, looking at all this nonsense, man, there's ways to be able to get out of that, and it's really worthwhile to get out of it. It's worthwhile to be able to think about how can you live your best life? How can you be free of all of the things? Maybe you grew up in a tough environment, and you know people were doing the best they could, but they taught you the wrong things. You know they're the wrong things, but it's hard to be able to make that transition when you're on a path that you know isn't the right path. And it's I remember being there and being in that spot and just like not knowing what my future would look like. You know, I've been sober over 10 years. I think it was like 11 years ago when I really started the path of getting sober, when my life was really out of control. And I remember sitting there and I had somebody I was talking to, and I was like, man, I don't know what the future's going to look like. Am I just going to be one of these guys that goes and sits and, you know, works for 40 years in an office job and is miserable? And it really is that you can go and create what you want in this world. You can be able to go and take small incremental steps. I had no idea moving forward what I was doing. I didn't know what the future would hold. I didn't know why. I didn't know I'd survive. I didn't think I'd survive when I got sober. I didn't think I'd survive a divorce. I didn't think I'd survive all that stuff. I went and got back in contact with people that a couple people told me not to get in contact with, but other people told me to. And you know what? Within like an hour of being there, I knew it was the wrong choice. And it really hurt, and it really was unpleasant. But I kept staying with it because there's a lot of programming in society that says you need to be with family, you need to do this, you need to do that. You know, I think every instance is different. But for me, being around family was probably one of the worst things that I could do, because it's the same people that, you know, they're hurt people. They don't have good self-regulation. They don't have good understanding of what their life is. And I went right back to that. And I thought it was the right thing to do. And in some ways it was, in some ways it wasn't. I'm glad I did, because I know that it's not for me. But I also, you know, went through a lot of pain with that. And so when I want to talk about a journey, and I want to talk about getting to a place, I want to think about the fact that it's not always this linear progression. Like there's this idea of like, oh, I'm going to make a change, I'm going to get sober, I'm going to do this, and everything's going to be great. It's not necessarily the case. The thing is that you want to have persistence with what you do. You want to have this vision. You want to look at yourself in the lights, you want to think about, how does God view Gary? How does God view you? What does God think about you? You know, yeah, like the devil can sit there and tell you, oh, you're hateful, you're this, you look at porn, you think about this, you think about that. You know what, man? That stuff doesn't matter. Like, what you think about, what our minds think about has very little bearing on what our, like, it has a bearing on what our life is, but our mind can think all sorts of weird things. But we have to focus on knowing what the proper direction is. When we know the proper direction and we go in that direction on a consistent basis, we get these great outcomes. This life that I'm living right now, I mean, I have health insurance right now. I'm living off of savings. Like, it's investment savings, but I'm still living off of savings. This is a good life. This is something that I planned for. Last year, I skied 27 days. This year, I mean, I'd love to ski 60. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm right around 27 right now. And I'm just a touch over halfway through my trip. So chances are good that I'm going to get a bunch more days. The biggest challenge is that I need rest days. As I get older, man, I need rest days. I can't just go 100% all the time. And it's a real blessing to have this life. It's a real blessing to sit here today and have a van that, like, most of it I build out myself. It's not the nicest. It's funny because I work on all this fancy stuff for work, and I build some really nice things for work, and when it's for myself, I kind of just sit there and I'm like, man, it's good enough, get it together. And it's nice, though. It's nice to be able to have a heater inside the van. It's nice to be able to have friends that I can chat with. It's nice to be able to share this and to think about, man, like how lost I was 10 years ago. Shoot, 15 years ago was even worse. Because I was caught up in all that addiction nonsense. I had addiction people around. It's a terrible place to be. Who are the people that are around you that are good, positive influences? How can you spend more time with them? How are the people that are negative influences? How can you spend less time with them? How can you focus on the really great things in your life? How can you focus on the Word of God? You know, if you don't believe in the Bible, how can you focus on reading things that are positive? How can you be able to focus on gratitude? I'm asking lots of questions today, but these were the things, you know, like the mind is funny when it's caught up in that addiction nonsense. It's like this what if. Oh, I don't know about this. I don't know about that. You know what, man? I don't know anything. I'm going to be honest with you. I know that if I put faith and I go in the direction of God, I know everything's going to work out. I know that for certain, for a fact. I know that there's times when I'm sitting there having conversations with people, and I can tell that there's something wrong with the conversation. And I know that sometimes I speak out and I speak the truth. And sometimes that really frustrates people. But those are people that don't need to be in my life anymore. And so it's a matter of being persistent. And I didn't start doing that until, like, recently. Like 8 or 9 years sober. So I'm not sitting here trying to tell you to go mouth off to people and be this or be that. But I am saying that you want to think about, you know, if there's people in your life that are cutting you down, that are taking you down, that are hurting you, you need to think about getting them out of your life. You need to think about that because it's hard, man. Like, it's not an easy thing. With family, like, family has caused more damage in my life than anybody else. They've done more things that are detrimental. They've lied more. They've caused more direct problems. And it's tough because you sit there and it's like, man, like, I was doing my best. But I always thought it was something that was wrong with me. And that drove a lot of my addiction issues. And so I'm really grateful for being able to see the truth and being able to go and say, hey, you know what, man, this just isn't for me anymore. I don't have to do this. Somebody else needs to be able to say these types of things. Somebody else needs to be disrespectful. God bless them. They can do that, but I'm not going to be around it. So today, I ask you to think about what questions you're asking yourself. What are the things that you're doing today that are good for you, that can help you to grow? And what are the things that you're doing today in the relationships that might not be helping you? And it doesn't mean make changes today, but it's to start writing down, start praying about it, start seeing what the path is for you. Been talking a lot. I'm going to end up skipping Proverbs today. We'll end up doing it probably this evening. But I just want to pray for each and every one of you. God, please bless us all. Bless our journeys. Help us to be able to see the path that you have set out for us. Help us to see ourselves in the best possible way. Help us to have that vision and carry us forward. Carry us in a direction of goodness. Please bless my trip. Help my vehicles work well. Help me to be safe. Help me to be a good guy. And help me to be able to just celebrate how awesome today is. How awesome it is being alive. Being able to use my voice and to be able to use my life as a testament to how great God is. So with that, live with legendary excellence. God bless you. January 27th, 2025. It's Legendary Excellence. I'm in gas station parking lot in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. It's super cold out. It's -9 right now, so I'm not really in a rush to get on the mountain, but I am having a good morning. It's funny, I keep working on my life. Like, some of the stuff that I share about is pretty direct. Like, last night was one of those nights where I every once in a while, like, mind just kind of goes off on its own. Sometimes there's resentment, sometimes there's anxiety, sometimes there's all those sorts of things. And when it happens, it's that opportunity to sit there and really sit with it. Man, I had trouble going to sleep last night. I think I dozed off for a little bit, and then I'd wake up, doze off, wake up, doze off, wake up. I think it was like 2 a.m. before I really actually went to sleep, which is pretty late. Didn't really get a ton of sleep last night. I probably got like 5 hours, and I'm laying down and there was dozing in and out, so it's one of those things. But I talk about this because I think it's important, because I think people go and they get into these situations where it's like they have trouble sleeping, they're doing this, they're doing that, and then they get caught up in this idea of like, oh, I'm broken, or there's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. It's like there's times where it's honestly like living in the van is stressful at times. There's times where living in the van can be really frustrating. Clutter and sort of mess can get really overwhelming, and it's something that organization isn't one of my strongest suits. I'm really good at ideas. I'm really good at actually doing things. And sometimes that organization piece gets gets to be a little bit tough. And so, when I look at my life and I look at how I view myself, I think I'm perfect in how I'm doing it. There's stuff I want to improve, but it's not like I'm defective. It's not like I'm broken. It's just that it's a process and it's something that I'm working through. When we look at ourselves, we want to think about it with that same kind of kindness. There's friends of mine that watch this that I think are caught up in some addiction stuff. And, I don't think you're like a really bad person because of having addiction. I think you might do bad things, and there might be things that you do that you need to make amends for, you need to be able to figure out. But at the end of the day, you have a coping mechanism that you found that it doesn't really work for you, but that you keep going back to right now. And so we want to think about that patience of like if there was like a newborn little child, and the newborn little child's trying to be able to walk, I'm not going to sit there and go be mean to the little newborn child and say, oh, well, I don't care about you being able to walk. I just, you're never going to learn how to walk. And, there's some of us where it takes us years and years and years to be able to get out of addiction, to be able to get out of a negative mindset, to think about really changing our lives. And when we go and we have those moments of being in that negative mindset, it's easy to fall into this point of judgment, this point of sitting there and saying like, oh, I'm stupid, I'm never going to get it. I think that I am statement is like some of the most powerful words that we can have. Those I ams about who you are. I'm going to be honest, I am really proud that I sat here and scanned all of my receipts this morning. I sat here and I was like, man, it's cold out. I don't want to go skiing right this second. I know it'll be fun when I get out there, but I went and scanned all of my receipts. They're all in the phone, and I'm sure there's one or two floating around the van that I haven't scanned yet. But the thing is that it's a ton of receipts. I'm doing a really good job. I feel really good about this. I get like that brain chemical that makes me feel proud of myself. I want you to think about today, what are the things that you need to do in your life to be able to make yourself feel really good? What are the receipts that have been sitting around? I mean, I even had a vanilla envelope, although the vanilla envelope ripped. But the thing is that I made progress today. It's easy to fall into this idea of like, I'm just going to scroll Instagram, I'm just going to go look on the news, I'm just going to go, hit the vape pen, or go get a drink, or, go talk to the person that constantly complains all the time. These are foolish things that we don't want to get involved in. It's really more about being able to live our best life and to focus on the things that matter. I'm sitting in a parking lot and somebody almost hit me, and it's like, I'm not going to focus on that. They didn't hit me, and that's a really great thing. And I'm, going to do the things that I need to do. And it's that thing in life where we can focus on the things that matter the most. So think about it, like our eyes go where they need to go. Are we going to focus our eyes on, the piles of poop on the ground and the bad things? I mean, maybe we need to go pick that up. But the thing is that if I focus on just the bad things in my life or the things that need improvement, I'm not going to accomplish the great things. And so when we think about that I am, if we think about it as I am happy and grateful every day, we want to think about, I had some like really delicious yogurt today. I like this Noosa yogurt. My buddy Alex turned me on to that. And because mean, who gives yogurt in these types of containers? And it's like 300 calories, 290 calories, which is like a lot of calories. I mean, usually I'm shooting for like 60 to 100 calories on yogurt. But with the skiing, I can eat as much. I can pretty much eat whatever I want to. But the thing is that like when we think about our choices, you know, I'm grateful for my buddy Alex suggesting that yogurt, and I'm grateful for how tasty it is, and I'm grateful that being in Colorado, it's like $2 a tin. It's just pretty cheap for that type of yogurt. I'm grateful for being able to sleep last night. I slept pretty good. I didn't take a Benadryl or anything like that. Grateful that I'm not drinking caffeine, because man, that caffeine is really what I think starts the trouble with sleep. It was being back at Aspen a couple days ago and I had that espresso, which was absolutely delicious, but it doesn't help me sleep, man. So I need to avoid it. Today, how can you be able to get those receipts? I know I talk about repetition, but how can you get your receipts scanned? You've got something in your life right now that you need to be able to get done that's going to help you. You know, the receipts being scanned means that I can write it off on my taxes, because this is a business, ultimately. And, you know, with the nonprofit, with all the things that I have, there's a whole bunch of it that comes together where it's trying to be able to share a message. It's trying to share a message, honestly, of like, you know, I haven't been trapped and lost, and not being trapped and lost anymore. And a lot of it's, you know, choosing the right people to be around. A lot of it's choosing the right choices. You know, even as simple as avoiding that caffeine, getting lots of exercise, which, I mean, just to be really direct, that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm getting a ton of exercise. My legs, like my leg muscles are gigantic right now. I can feel my body changing with just how persistent I am with the exercise. You know, not everybody's going to go skiing. I don't think anybody else is going to go skiing the way I go skiing. But there's things that you can do right now in your life. If you're a young man, young woman, and you're going to class in high school or in college, you can go start doing push-ups. You can start doing sit-ups. You can start doing these things that help you to build strength in your body. Because whatever you do in your life, strength in your body is going to be really important. It's something that I really struggled with throughout my entire life. My eating was out of control. My mindset was out of control. I had a lot of trouble with depression. That's why I do this, because I want to be a guidepost for other people. I want to be a guide to help you to get out of this stuff, because I think it's easy to fall into the trap of saying, well, the medication's going to take care of it, or that's going to take care of it, or whatever. I think your mindset's the thing that's most powerful. The medication might help. I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. I don't want to worry about you saying I quit the medication because Gary said so. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is that in addition to the medication, your mindset, what you think about yourself. When you say, I am happy and grateful, I am a child of God, I am somebody that can be able to accomplish great things. You know, you might have been